Start of day 103. It's 9:22, August 6th. I'm leaving Kent, Connecticut to walk back to the trail, 7/10 of a mile. Not too bad. I have a choice to make. There's a very gnarly downhill coming up on the actual trail. There is a blue blaze or a road walk around it. That would be no climbing, no descents. I kind of feel like it's cheating, so I don't know whether I'm going to do it. I stayed in town a little longer because I was trying to get a fuel canister, and the stores didn't open in time. I have some fuel, so I'm just going to have to go forward, I guess. In 2 days there's Salisbury and another place where I have a resupply, resupply package, and so I'm hoping I can get a fuel canister there. Otherwise there's also a hostel in Salisbury, which would be 2 days. Well, 2 days further away the guy hikes that I was talking to. 3 days for me. 2 days to Falls Village, 3 days to Salisbury. So we'll see. So Kent, Connecticut is sort of a bougie, high-end bedroom community slash vacation destination. I haven't shown you much of it, but it's a really nice, well-kept place. And somebody here locally told me that there aren't any public schools in Kent. They have these really expensive boarding schools, which I walked past. I walked past on the way in. I also hitched part of the way in, but that's kind of the deal. Everything was expensive in Kent, but I resupplied, and I did stay overnight free. So I guess that helps offset the cost of groceries and all that kind of thing were really high, but that's Connecticut too. So last night I went to ground and for the first time set my tarp up in ground mode. I wasn't overwhelmed by sleeping on the ground. I don't like it, but when I went to set up my hammock last night, I saw 2 trees I thought would work, and they were covered in old poison ivy vines, and it isn't anything I'm too wild about. So I decided to go to ground. My watch says I slept okay, but what does my watch know? Went to bed at 8:30. I guess my body wasn't used to it. I laid awake for a good while. It was hot, and when you're on the ground it's actually hotter than in a hammock, and so it was a little bit of a deal. So if I was to take the bypass this kind of one rough section of trail, I would take this next road right up here, but it'd be like I don't know, 3, 4, 5 mile road walk, and I don't feel too good about it. So I think I'm gonna walk on back to the trail. Gonna take my lumps. I'll let you know this evening whether that was a good decision or not. There's a real steep descent from a place called the Ledges. About 3 to 5 miles up the trail. And the start out for today is also like a 500 or 600 foot climb, and I have a heavy pack with a resupply, but it is what it is. I'm up the first climb, and this trail is pretty nice. It's going to go up and down 2 or 3 times. The climb was pretty steep, but not unmanageable. Took it slow. The remaining thing in the day that kind of worries me is that there is a really steep downhill from a place called the Ledges that evidently has some really nice views of the Housatonic River. It's about a mile descent. Probably loses all the altitude I just gained. It goes back to the river, and so I will worry about that when we get there. That'll be probably lunchtime, a little after lunch. So just going to take it easy today. Once I get down from the Ledges, it's basically walking beside the river. Doesn't mean it'll all be peachy keen, but it means there probably is not too much elevation gain and loss. So just didn't feel quite right with a road walk to walk around this, and maybe I'd miss something that's really nice. So you never know. You never know. This is really pretty trail here, and it's nice and cool right now. Looks like I'm going up some more. So maybe I didn't quite make it all the way to the top of the first climb, but made the majority of it. So I'm taking you with me. Day 103. This is the view from Caleb's Peak. I think this is the highest point I'll be today. I think we're looking back over. If you look straight out through there, a couple of humps. That's what I've come over today. If you go to the 3rd and the 4th one, that was yesterday. So today's first climb was pretty steep. It wasn't too bad. There have been a couple other small climbs, and then this last one here up Caleb's Peak. It wasn't terrible, but once you've done a couple of climbs, it kind of takes the starch out of you. The next stop really on the Trail of Merit is a place called the Ledges. It supposedly has a really great view out over the valley, and then it's famous for its steep and rocky descent, which I'm not necessarily looking forward to, but between here and the Ledges is a stream that's supposedly running, so I want to get there, filter some more water and drink it up, and get to the Ledges. I think I'm going to take a lunch break at the Ledges, take the load off, and then we'll descend the mile down from the Ledges. Then we'll be back down in the valley and hiking by the river. So that's the ups and downs on the Appalachian Trail. There isn't much level, it's either up or down. But it's good. It's been really pretty this morning. It's a little cooler this morning, but it is very humid. So, it's 6 1/2 dozen the other. My thermometer says 79 degrees, which isn't terrible. If it wasn't a humid 79, it'd be wonderful. But anyway, that's why you drink water. Well, I misspoke. I was going to stop and have lunch at the Ledges. I thought there was a view, but it ended up there just a big rock, and I was starting the descent before I even hardly knew that I was at the Ledges. So the descent was rather technical at the first third, I would say, but actually it was kind of fun. I enjoyed the change, and let me see where we go here. I think I keep going this way. I enjoyed the change, just like I kind of enjoyed the climb out of Lehigh Gap, which was pseudo rock climbing at a couple of places, at least bouldering, and I found that fun. So take it for what it's worth. I actually found that kind of descending almost easier on my knees than just a steep downhill where you just slam. So I looked on my map earlier, and it said I only had 3.3 miles till the campsite I was thinking of stopping at. I'm going to have to change my mind and push farther. Let me double check that, because As you can tell from past videos, I don't always remember these things correctly. But, oh yeah, I'm on the right way. Got ourselves a white blaze here. Just follow the white blazes. The rest of the trail looks, for a while here, looks gentle. I think we follow this road for a good ways, and we're not much elevation gain, so the next 3 miles should be fairly pedestrian. I do need to find a nice place to stop and take a load off for a little bit and have some lunch. That always helps. Give my feet a break. I've got a heavier pack today, but actually, sometimes the things you dread a little bit or are worried about don't end up being near as difficult as you think they're going to be. And that was the case with that section right there. I was a little nervous about the climb, and then I didn't even know about the descent till I was talking about I was talking to another hiker, and he said, yeah, there's a real steep downhill. It's almost like rock climbing, and there's a road walk around this whole section. And he said, well, he might take it, but I'm glad I didn't. For one, I would have felt a little tinge of guilt. But two, I enjoyed it. There was a pretty view up there on the top of whatever the name of that mountain was that I said earlier. And I enjoyed the challenge of the descent. So it is like 1 o'clock, and seems like I'm making decent time. I don't guess I had a huge agenda planned for today. It was probably 8-ish, 9-ish miles, and so the other option is, and I need to look at the topography, but the other option is there is a shelter, I think, another 5 miles up the trail, which makes like a 13 or 14 mile day. I would be really pleased with that if I could do it, and so I'm going to find a place to take a break and think over my options. I'll probably hike to this other campsite, see how I feel when I get there, take a break. The campsites are nice, but you have to carry water to them, so probably stop and filter water, carry to the campsite, unless I know for sure that I'm going for it. The extra distance, then I'll probably just filter enough to carry to get to the shelter, which I believe has a water source right before it. So, taking you along with me, we're hiking beside the Housatonic River. Can't really see it, but it's just right over just the edge of the trees there. And we're going to be spending a good bit of time beside the Housatonic. I like this sign, but I don't know what it means. It's kind of cool. There should be a spring coming up here in a little bit where I need to fill my water bottles to hike to the campsite I've chosen to go to. Silver Hill, I'm going to have to hike uphill with water, but I was able to get another 3-4 miles in, 3.6 I think. So that's good. The train has been really gentle after the big climb and descent today, so it's still only 3:41 in the afternoon. There is a shelter at instead of 12.1 at like 16.5, but don't think the old horse here has quite that much in the tank. But I'll carry water up to that campsite, I'll rest a little while, and then make a decision. And another 4.5 would be 2 more hours, and it really depends on what the train is like, whether that's doable or not. Right now my feet are a little tired, so I'm headed for the 12.1 or 12.2, whatever it is. I've reached the spot where I'm going to camp. Here's the bear box to put your food in at night, and then come into the camping area. It's kind of a unique. It doesn't have water, so I had to carry I carried 3 liters of water up. It does have a privy. I could have maybe done with 2. It's got a pavilion. It's got a swing. Looks really nice. So now all I got to do is find my 2 trees and set up. I think I'm gonna try to stay a little ways from the privy, because if other people come, then they're always making a beeline for the privy past where you are. So I think maybe, anyway, I'll figure it out and set up camp. It's been a good day. It's been, I think it's 12 point something here. About 5 of those miles were hard miles, and 7 were not so hard. Plus you add about a 1.2 from town. It makes it like a 13-mile day, so that's decent. 3, 4, 6. It's a little too far, but maybe that'll work. Anyway, I'm going to find myself a couple of trees here and get myself set up. But first, I may just sit down and take a load off. So, thanks for coming along with me. But I think it was probably worth the water carry to be up here. It's just beautiful. And it's going to beat where I camped last night. So, thank you, Lord. Thank you for the strength to put in a good day today.
Wrap up for day 103. I'm here at the Silver Hill campsite. 12.1, 12.4 from the junction of the road there coming out of Kent. I had about a 1.2 mile hike to get to trail, and then 12.1. I had the last mile here up to the campsite. I wanted to push on. The water source was, it said, a mile before, so I packed 3 liters uphill. Just took it easy. It was a 500 foot of elevation gain over the course of the climb. It may have been that it did some of it twice, but it worked out okay. About a third or half the way up, there was a stream that was running. So I wouldn't have had to carry it so far, but it worked out. It really wasn't that, it wasn't really that long of a hike. It's a beautiful campsite up here. I think I showed you around before. I'm looking forward to getting some good sleep. My tarp was all damp from having it deployed last night down in Kent. I don't know if it was river moisture or what, but everything just got soaked in Kent. And so put the tarp up, and now it's dry. The hammock was wet, even though I just pulled the bug net off of it and put it on myself because I was on the ground, and the hammock was all wet. Now it's dry, so it's nice to get everything dried out. I had one of my dehydrated meals tonight called shrimp ramonera, and basically it was shrimp, dehydrated shrimp with pasta shells and like a tomato sauce, marinara sauce, and vegetables, and then you sprinkle over it some shelf-stable Parmesan cheese. Oh, it was good. It was really good. I haven't found, I know there are some really good freeze-dried meals out there. People tell me that Peak meals are really good, and but some of the meals that I prepare for myself are just amazing. That one was good, and I had one the other night that was like, it ends up being like a shepherd's pie. It was, I made mashed potatoes with beef broth, and then dehydrated them, and then put that with mixed vegetables, and then freeze-dried hamburger. And it was like, when it's rehydrated, it's like a shepherd's pie without the crust. And just hit the spot. It was just comfort food. So unfortunately, I haven't made a lot of those recipes, but those are some of my favorites. Along with I made a fair amount of chili, and I really have been enjoying the chili. And what makes it even better is if you can throw a little fresh cheddar in there with it. But it's nice to have a good meal, and I'm pretty full, which is good, because the last while I just don't get full. I can eat and eat and eat and eat. So it's hiker hunger, I guess. But anyway, it was a good day, so I'm pleased with over 10. And my feet were tired at the end of the day, but the crazy thing is, I get up in the morning, they feel good. They feel good. So as long as I can keep them going in the right direction, I think they felt the best this morning that they felt in a long time. So thank you, Lord, for healing. And I kind of enjoyed the day. It had had a climb that was, I won't say it was gnarly, it was challenging. And then a couple of ups and down whoop-de-doos, and then there was a down climb that was very technical. And some people, I talked to one guy who was going to try to avoid it, but I really kind of enjoyed the technical down more than these plodding, bumpy downhills where you're just slamming your feet all the way down. You know, a couple of times I had to turn around and climb down like a ladder. Sometimes I had to use handholds. I didn't use my trekking poles the whole time. It just, the challenge of it was fun. And then I had a road walk about 4 or 5 miles, or very gentle, and that actually gets kind of boring and monotonous. So, you know, gotta roll with the flow. It doesn't look like I'm gonna have quite as easy, quite as a stretch of really level or gradual tomorrow. Looks like I get up over the top here. I'm almost the top where I'm at. Go down the other side, climb up again, hike along the ridge for a ways, go down again, and then back up again. And it's like 2 or 3 of those, but the climbs don't appear to be really large. And the other thing, so I did several things when I was in Kent. I may have said this in yesterday's video, but I did laundry because it had been a long time and it smelled really bad. I took a shower at the Welcome Center. I ate a meal in town. I did a resupply at the IGA to fill in the gaps to get me on down the ways a little bit. And I shaved. 7 days without shaving, it gets kind of long and bristly, and I look in the mirror and I look pretty bad. So you can probably tell that I've shaved between, well, it might have been in last night's wrap-up video, but met some cool people, and had some people really helped me out and pointed me in good directions. So the lady at the laundromat was a real blessing. They just gave me advice and helped me out, gave me quarters and rented me a towel and all kinds of good stuff so that I could get my stuff done. And ran into a number of other thru hikers. Kent is a popular spot for resupply. I guess that's because they have what thru hikers want. It may not be cheap, but they have it. So the one thing I wanted to get and forgot to get it on Monday before the stores closed was a fuel canister. And then the shop didn't open till 10. I didn't want to wait till 10 and then hike another mile out, and then it starts getting hot. And so it looks like I'll be in Salisbury in 3 days, and I think there's a pretty good option there. I may actually get a hostel. in Salisbury, and I'm not sure. I may get a hostel in Salisbury, even though it's only 3 days out. Be the first time I've had a chance. I think they'll pick me up at the trail, which runs really close to the hostel, and I can get another shower. And what I really want to do is upload videos. Tried last night, but my cell service, no, I tried this morning, but my cell service, even though I had a lot of bars for talk, said it wanted to take an hour of video. So just, that doesn't work. When I have really good Wi-Fi, I can usually upload a video in 15 minutes. So I have probably 5-6 videos to do. And if you take an hour at a piece, it's a problem. So anyway, I'm rambling, but it was a good day 103, and I'll keep taking you down the trail with me.